Welcome to Cooking Up Success, a podcast where we interview like-minded entrepreneurs to them to share with us their secret of success. Today, we have Anna and Mark, both from New York. Mark, owner of Gen3, it's a technology-based company, Web3, and Anna, 50th floor, also from New York. And they're going to be here today sharing their secret for success, right? So we're so excited to have them today here. This is the podcast number 3. And here we have a Miami Film House, Miami, of course, with my man Jordan. And we're going to have an amazing time teaching you guys their secret of success. They're coming from New York and they're going to help us to understand, their beginnings, everything they did to this point. And let's just begin to see what they have to say. So, Mark, can you share a little bit with us the journey that you took to inspire to start a company like Gen3? We know that that's Web3, but there's a lot of people in the audience out there that don't know so much about what that is. So share with us a little bit about what inspired you. What is it exactly?
What inspired? Okay, long story short.
Yes.
Yeah, so going back a bit, first of all, thanks for inviting me to this beautiful space in Miami.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I'm excited to be here. I just got here. I guess I've been here for about 2 months. I spent the last 16 years in New York, working primarily in magazine publishing.
Right.
And I didn't just start that. I'm almost embarrassed to say how long I've been in the industry. It kind of dates me. But I've been working with magazine publishing for over 20 years. And I'm a guy from Pittsburgh. And I think at a young age, I kind of had an adventurous streak in me already. I try anything once, and that was for better or for worse. So when I graduated high school, a lot of my friends, we all decided we were going to college, and we were set up for that. And everyone was going to like University of Pittsburgh, Duquesne, Carnegie Mellon, a school in Ohio or
Right.
Penn State. So here I am. I decided I wanted to go to Arizona State and venture. So that's where I went and got a degree in marketing. That's kind of where my eyes opened as far as, anything's possible. Here I am, a guy from Pittsburgh. And this is during the 80s. And so I went to school. I did what everybody else did. I graduated, plugged into the bottom of a company. I worked for Xerox Corporation. I worked for Canon USA. I was a copier salesperson.
Right.
Kind of caught that wave, and at the time, companies like IBM and Xerox were the big talk. I mean, it was Big Blue and Xerox, and I thought that was the way to go, and I knew I wanted to be in sales. So that was a great opportunity, to learn the trade. And I was with a good company. I spent about 15 years, 20 years in corporate.
Right.
Eventually, I went on to be a broker, had a brokerage firm. I got my Series 7, my Series 63, and got into that industry. My timing was as bad as it can be. That was 87.
87.
And there was a crash. And every one of these brokerage firms were either sort of merging or going out of business. It was E.F. Hutton and Shearson Lehman. They merged. And so I did that for a while and kind of got disillusioned and ended up back in Pittsburgh visiting my family and spent some time, didn't know what to do. And what I decided after some time in Pittsburgh, I was kind of aimless. I had no idea what I wanted to do in life. So I went back out to Arizona and I remember I was kind of doing odds and ends, working odd jobs, and I wandered into this house in Tempe, Arizona, where I went to college because it was Friday night, it was like 10 o'clock. I could see the house on the side, and I could see through the windows and people working. I was like, what the hell's going on in here? So I walked into this house with my flip-flops and my worn out T-shirt and short pants. I was like, what are you guys doing here at 10 o'clock on a Friday night? They said, we're launching a magazine. I said, launching a magazine? That sounds pretty exciting. Do you need any help? They said, yeah, we need some help. We need somebody to sell some ads. I said, I'll sell ads. And that was 2002. And I just never left the industry.
That's it.
So I went through thick and thin. So that's how I got into the industry. I got that bug as soon as I walked in the door, and they shoved a camera into my hand and said, you're the nightlife and entertainment photographer.
Right.
And that's how I started in the business.
So, Mark, 2002, if I'm not mistaken, no social media, internet is just very beginnings of it.
Yeah, internet, there was websites. Everyone at that time was just building a website. If you had a deli, you were building a website. If you had a big company, that was just that whole scene with websites, and that whole industry was just exploding. And that's kind of where I got the bug to be in the industry. So I ended up an entertainment nightlife photographer for this company. So I'm going into nightclubs 3 times a week, and they're opening the velvet ropes for me. I'm like, this is great. And girls are jumping in front of the camera, and I'm like, I'm with the hottest magazine in town. So, and I'm meeting people I never thought I'd meet. I'm meeting, certain people were doing photo shoots, and that's how I got started. Then fast forward, I ended up with 3 other startup publications, and I kind of had this reputation, like, this has got to call if you're starting a magazine, because he'll go out there and network, sell the ads, and get the thing going. So that's what I did. So I had enough of that, and decided that, I've been doing this long enough. I think I can do this.
Right.
So
like you said, when you put the eye on something, you try it once.
Right. So I had a passion for what I was doing, which was the key. I love what I was doing, which is key for anything. So if, I always thought, like, if you do something, if you love something enough and you do it long enough, eventually people will notice. So I ended up in San Francisco, and, long story short, great town.
Yes.
But I said, if I'm going to do what I want to do, really, I need to be in New York. So I packed up my car, drove to New York, and I ended up checking into a hostel. There was no Airbnb. Okay, you either could afford to live in New York or you couldn't. So I checked into a hostel with 9 other guys in bunk beds, and in the dead of winter, that was 2008, and decided to launch a magazine in New York. And everyone thought I was crazy because 2008, again, my timing's never good. Like 2008, there was a housing crash. I'm launching a magazine, but I just put my head down and I just beat the pavement and just kept going. And then fast forward, there was COVID, the lockdowns, and I just flatlined. I had a magazine that did well, number 3 magazine. Wow. We were known for that, a big art design fashion magazine. And the last 5 years of doing that, you hear print is dead, print is dead, print is dead. And I knew print wasn't dead. It just needed to become part of a bigger picture. And I had no idea what that was going to be. I had no idea what this big picture was going to be, but I love what I did, so I kept doing it.
Right.
And with COVID lockdowns, I left New York, went back to Pittsburgh, thought I'd be here for, a couple of weeks, and I ended up moving forward with things.
That's amazing. And remember, Alex, when we did an event for the Time magazine, the NFTs on the walls, they were moving and all that, and that kind of reminds me a little bit of what he has.
Right, but the emerging technology with Gen 3 is just so exciting because there's so much potential for the industries that can harness that technology and use it across the board, right?
Right. I mean, I thought, like, if there's a way to take a traditional print magazine, something people are familiar with, trust, and merge that with AR, where people can literally point their phone and have pages come to life, that would be something people would catch on to, because it's kind of like a hybrid, You're right.
Yeah.
Something traditional that my 86-year-old mother is familiar with and trusts.
Yeah.
And then you're able to give people a deeper dive into the content, whether it's video, animation, art design. We can actually live stream an event from the page. There's really not much you
It's
can't do.
such a great tool for education, for entertainment.
Education.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the standard with the magazines.
Amazing.
For the most part.
Amazing.
And then, right now you're using your phone, but in a year to 2 years, you'll be just putting on a pair of glasses
Yeah.
and going through the whole publication like that. So that's what we're doing. So we launched Gen 3 magazine, and it took off. I mean, it was popular at the events. We actually mailed, we shipped 2,500 copies of the magazine to Singapore for the largest Web3 event in Asia, and it just caught on like wildfire.
Oh, I bet.
Now that's step one. So we're about to enter step two, develop our own app, building the website, coming out with new opportunities as far as the revenue, mostly opportunities for campaigns and things like that.
So I just want to jump in real quick. Mark, just for our viewers who might not know exactly, what this technology is that we're talking about, can you just describe what it is that you're talking about with like the app and like a phone?
For example, right now we're using a third-party app, and we're in the process of going to build our own app. This way, it's a more seamless process. But basically, I'm not a technology guy. We have someone who designed and programs the magazine to do all these different things. But you basically download an app, you point it at the page, and the images come to life.
Yeah.
Whether it's an interview or AI art or gaming, there's really not. We can actually create a hologram. We can make a plane fly around the page. We can make a bartender pour a drink.
Yeah.
So it's literally something that comes to life.
We have a 2-year-old, and for me, my mind is like children's books. Like, can you imagine?
Yeah, this is going to be this will
I love that.
standard. We're
Yeah.
So that's where I think, as far as print and art and design and some of the higher end magazines, whether they're architecture, design, art, they're going to be.
And talking about the design, obviously the audience, we're going to let them know soon how Anna and Mark, that kind of like merge into their partnership, that they know each other for a while now, and Anna's is so talented in what she does, and we cannot wait to work with her, and also for her to tell us a little bit about her getting the way that she got inspired to start the events and the artistic things that she does, and the creative, because that's what she does.
So thank you so much for inviting me to the podcast. I'm very excited. Everything started with my work with Number 3 magazine. The entire idea came when I was doing I was having solo exhibitions in galleries in New York, and little by little we were thinking that people in New York just not really anymore feeling excited just to go see art on a wall. They wanted something more than that. And we were thinking, what we can do to make people excited to come to see the gallery. So I was thinking that it should be something that's connected, like a art show, live art, and plus the art on a wall. And our first experience started with the Lula's Gallery in New York. So we created this little live art, which is I was thinking like, okay, art doesn't have to be only on a wall. It can be something that people can touch, people can be part of it, people can experience it. And we started to do live art shows. We created the first one because number 3 magazine were having event in Lewis, so we created that, and it had a lot of attention. People were very excited. You could say like how happy people are in a gallery, how much they wanna be involved. It feels to them like they can touch. It's an art, but they can touch. They can experience it. Yeah. And after that, basically that's how it started. I think it was like 5 years ago. And that's how it started, and we were always suggesting, like the people who wanted to work with us, we were suggesting them that we can do this, And once they see the experience, they wanted to have those art shows, art installations.
Amazing. And I'm gonna jump in and this is something that is kind of teach a lot of people in our audience right here that is part of the what Cooking Up Success is, because I want to touch on base that you're not from America, right? And you came from Armenia, is that correct? And this would teach a lot of people, especially here in Miami, for example, that we are, or anybody in the U.S. that come from another country to try to make it in the U.S. And you came here and looking now you're partner with Mark and you do these amazing events and all these ideas and the future you guys hold together. Tell us a little bit about that right there. You coming from the the outside and making it, especially in New York, right? And just tell us a little bit about that part right there. That way the audience can identify with you and then can get inspired and excited to do probably their thing too.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, that part of my life was very interesting because how I end up in US in New York and how I started. So I was student. I was just studying movie and art in a school, and I would just always. They would always give us a homework to do our photographies and stuff like that. And every time when I was doing my photography, I started to post it a lot on Facebook. But that time I never knew that I'm gonna be artist. It was it was just a school, and I liked it. I liked my school a lot, so I started to post a lot of my art. And one day, my friend tell me that some very famous New York photographer post your art in his Facebook. He says, do you know about that? And I say, oh my God, no. And she says, it's such a big deal. Like, go to his Facebook page and you're going to see he's writing about you. He's sharing your art on his wall.
That's amazing.
And only the idea New York already make me go crazy. So I went his page and I sent him a message. I said, thank you so much for sharing my art. And we start talking, and he says, what are you? We want you to come and work with us.
Right.
I said, oh my God, I can't. I'm in Armenia. And he's like, where? So they even didn't know where Armenia is. So little by little, we start chatting, and I said, I want to help. I want to come to New York, and I want to come work for you. So I was already so excited.
Wow.
And I think a few months later, Mark contacted me on a Facebook again, and he says that, we would like to invite you to come to New York and work with us, tell us your situation. So that's kind of how my story started.
That was a process.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Will you say that's a turning point that sparked the career of what you're doing right now? If you say there is a moment that make, for example, when I quit my full-time job as an executive chef, working in a place that I was managing a lot of people to start my company, Eventos, that was a turning point that I never went back, even though it's a struggle and it's hard and all that, but that's a turning point, the decision to say, I'm doing this. So when you say that was a turning point, when you say, I'm going to New York, I don't care, you have family, you have all this, and you're going to leave all there because you're going to pursue a goal, a dream, right? That was a turning point, you say?
Yes, it was very hard because our visa system in Armenia is very difficult. So I got rejected many, many times until I got visa. It was almost, I kind of almost give up because I've been in embassy maybe 10 times. And every time they were telling me no, you can't go. You're just a student.
To try to come to US, to try to get the visa.
Yeah. It took me really, really long. But anyway, we just never give up. And it was my intuition tells me that you need to go. You have to go. I wasn't thinking about anything else, only my goal to be in US, to be in New York. Because that time I remember it was a lot of people communicating with me. Armenia is really very small country.
Yeah.
And New York is something really big for them. It's like a dream, to be artist in New York. People were laughing on me. They're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it was very different.
Look who's laughing now.
Yeah. Kind of. But it was a very interesting time. And when I called Mark, so it happens very quickly. My last time when I say, okay, this is the last one. I'm going embassy.
Right.
And no more. And I called him and I said, I got visa, and he was not believing. He says, how that this is even possible?
And wow.
So you hadn't met yet in person?
No.
No, it seemed like we would do like these Facebook, like we would do Facebook like this. And then eventually I like met the mother and met her sister and the whole family. And this is like 2 years. It's like a year and a half of communicating like that. And you know how it's like when you set your mind to something, it's like, they're not telling me I can't do this. Like, because when I decided to sponsor her, I was like, this is going to be easy. You know, I got this whole company, you know, in the media, she does this, she'll come, I'll sponsor. It was like a nightmare.
But yeah, I was just going to say, but you had this vision for how you and Anna were going to come together and work together once she got here, and mesh your two industries and passions.
And she was like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to happen, but I'm going to go over there.
Right.
And Mark, being more experienced and all that, Mark probably had already this whole plan already going on. Or like some kind of idea of, okay, when she comes here, this is what we're going to do.
No, we had the whole thing set up.
Okay.
Because there were certain things that we had to do and hoops we had to jump through, an internship program.
Yeah.
Now lawyers and immigration lawyers, and it just went on.
Did she speak any English, like good English in that moment? Or in that process right there, she speak English yet?
She did speak English. Not like she speaks English now, but she spoke English. But a lot of times, I mean, we didn't have any problems communicating.
No, not that much. Only
No.
on
At the beginning, her sister would help her out a little bit with some of the words.
Yeah. And New York, what part of New York you're at right now? What is it? The area?
Manhattan.
Manhattan. You know, we have clients that live nearby, right, Alex?
Yeah,
We do.
by
The
Central
trucks.
Park. Yeah.
By Central Park. Very wealthy family. We do Passover for them every year. Very amazing Manhattan. I mean, I think everybody wants to be in Manhattan. Like when it comes to like the nicer area. Central Park is right there.
Yeah.
Is it right? Okay. Well, the opportunities for what you do, art, events, is New York or Miami. That's right. And so I want to ask Mark, what do you think? Because Gen 3 and Web 3, I'm so new on this, but I know that Web 3 and the guy that you have in the magazine, I researched about him. He's got to be either he's the leader on the country of what he does, or he is one of the top guys, right? And because I kind of researched a little bit, but what do you say about if there's got to be other companies doing similar what you're doing, or trying, or innovative, or either ahead of what you're trying to do because they have either bigger companies or whatnot. But what do you think separates you or sets you apart from whoever else trying to do what you're doing? Like, what sets you apart, or what you can be when it comes to like what you bring to the table or what you're trying to achieve? What do you think is like, okay, I am better because of this, or have these tools on these traits that probably other people don't have? If you can show us to our audience.
I think the difference is I'm kind of, I'm a legacy guy. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been magazine publishing for over 20 years. So it's not something I just decide to start like in the shower one day. Hey, this is a great idea. But I've kind of gone through all the different phases of magazines. Like when I started, like you said, the internet was there, but if you wanted to see the article in the magazine, you had to go and buy it or have it delivered in the mail. There was no other way. There was a digital magazine. There were no flip books that you got on your iPad or anything like that. So I think just being in the industry that long, and right now there's so much, AR is impacting so many different things and how people experience things. It's everywhere, or it seems like it's just growing. But as far as magazines, right now I'm kind of Ray Kroc and McDonald's. We're kind of, I don't know. So the magazine,
Great.
Right now it's like the first McDonald's, but sooner or later it's going to be Burger King. There's going to be Arby's. There's going to be Wendy's, and I know this is going to be the standard in how people experience magazines.
Will be.
Not every magazine, maybe not, the weekly, Newsweek.
Gonna revive it for sure.
If they don't, they're going to have like their AR edition of Architectural Digest or something like that. And some of the big, so this will be the standard. So I think one of the big things that it's just people are surrounded, like Brian, for example, who's been in the industry. A lot of people, you surround yourself with people who are better at doing the things that I have business doing, which are a lot of things. Like I always thought that I could put together an issue of a magazine in a weekend, but just by walking around New York City. So I'm good at that. But as far as the technology part, I have to bring, I never thought I'd have a developer for a magazine. I mean, who ever heard such a thing? So it's just a matter of finding the right people, just being in the industry for so long and being in art and design and the fashion world and Fashion Week in New York. I've been in New York for about 16 years. And I think that's really what separates, but this will be the standard.
It's amazing. And I love everything about it. I cannot wait to work with you indirectly to see how can I implement this and what we do. And also, I cannot wait to see Anna doing what she does the best, right? Alex, there's anything you want to ask?
Yeah, Anna, can you kind of describe your performance art and maybe like what inspires it? I'm sure it's, different with each event that you do, but maybe like a general background on your art.
Yes, of course. It just started really small on the beginning. I was just trying to basically work. Depends on where we are at the moment. Depends the space and what we have, like what kind of decorations or lighting or music we can use. So it started very simple, but now I am more going towards making my performances into big theatrical pieces. So I had recently very nice collaboration with the ballet company. We did very beautiful, like 30 minutes ballet performance in a theater for 2 days. And I kind of started to feel like this is me. This is the direction I want to go. But generally, the performances they custom. They very like it just depends like where we are at the moment, what's going on, what we can use, and then that becomes kind of inspiration.
So with the ballet performance you were just talking about, you came into a ballet studio and were working with professional dancers.
Yes, it was my first time. A ballet company saw my small installations, and it was very interesting that she come up with an idea that someone like me who have nothing to do with the dance can do choreography and can do the big piece performance for a stage. And she kind of trust me because it was like really good theater in Manhattan and known. And the company also were known, the ballet company. And she just come up with an idea. And when we created, she couldn't believe, like when we had the final pieces together, she couldn't believe like the result.
Can you kind of like describe what that looked like a little bit for our audience?
Yeah, I mean, the people who saw it, they were telling us like, oh, we couldn't know where we are. Like it looked kind of a little alien with the decorations and costumes. And I wanted to really give people experience who came to watch ballet so they feel like, no, we are not in a ballet, we are somewhere else.
Right, because you do like immersive performance art, right? You would describe it like that. So creating like that feeling like you're in another world is probably what you're often trying to go for, right?
Yeah, to make them feel like, oh, we are not here. We just fly somewhere. Or when we created it, I was very much inspired by Fifth Element. They have this concert piece in where she sings, and it's shown that they fly somewhere to watch that performance. In
I actually love that scene.
It's kind of very close,
a
little bit to that by the colors and by how we designed the dancers' costumes and everything. So, and some people were when they left when it's over and they came to me and they said, "You did this?" And I said, "Yeah." They said, "Yeah, this was very, very different." And some people were even not believing that we did this. This is our ideas. We did it, but anyway, it was a very interesting experience.
Yeah. Well, when you're an artist, like it's funny how like sometimes your brain will take an idea from something, like you said, you were inspired by a movie, and And like you may not even plan to have that inspiration connection, but when somebody tasks you with creating something, your mind just goes to work and blooms, and it like reaches for whatever kind of bridges and makes sense. And for you, that's what happens. So that's cool. And when other people watch that, they can like find reference, like, what does that remind me of? And, maybe that's why.
When people give you a theme, color palette, idea, or a guide of, hey, this is what we're thinking, is that 100% easier for you to start being creative, or you can just say, I'm gonna create something and just come up and do it? I don't know, because for me, when we do events, we require the client to tell us at least what they're celebrating, and then we have a starting point, right? And because we do this so many times, then it's like easy for us to go from there. What about the process of that right there? It is far easier when people give you a guide of like, hey, this is what we're thinking, or you can just switch and start creating.
To the time that I've been creating stuff, it's never been that way. They never say this is what we want.
Okay.
No, they just send the pictures of the space. I supposed to had the show in this year in Cannes Film Festival.
Repeat that again. I'm sorry.
I was supposed to have this year art installation also in Cannes Film Festival, but I couldn't make it because of, again, visa issues.
Okay.
But even when I was working with them, they were just sending me pictures of the space, of like just the space, and they were saying, okay, we just see you there. Like,
yeah.
It was like, yeah.
That's nice to have
Yes.
open options. Sometimes for me, like when I'm not sure, I get a little nervous.
Yes.
Because I'm like, my goal in my industry is to please the client. I mean, certainly it is in yours as well, and you have our artistic goals. But sometimes I get like worried about like reaching that, that finish line of, did I nail it? Is that exactly what they wanted? Hopefully. So sometimes like I get a little nervous when I start planning something creative, but once I get going and I'm doing it, I'm fine. But like sometimes at the beginning of the creative process, I'm like, oh, it's hard to get going, right?
Hey, Mark. So, what about to continue here teaching a little more our audience? And I want to ask you about failures, right? Because we know that when we fail, we need to get up and we need to move forward. But from there, that is a learning process, and that's how we get better. When we screw up, we like, I fucked this up. I got to get up and I got to continue. But I learn from that, and I learn from that. So tell us a moment that you say, this thing really was the worst thing that happened to me, and I don't know. And then you couldn't believe that you actually move on from it, you learn from it, and then make you the man that you are today. Do you have like a short story or a moment that you say that was the moment that it was so hard, but actually you overcome it and made you who you are today? That you can remember anything?
Yeah. I mean, you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, I failed more than I succeeded. I mean, I've came from just the idea, like, I don't know where it comes from, but maybe it's that sort of get up back on the horse once you fall off and just keep doing it. And sooner or later, you sort of, in some situations, you run out of ways of doing it wrong, but if you love what you're doing, you're just going to keep doing it. That's the key to it. But I can remember, I think it's really important to, some things you just don't control. I mean, I had a partnership with somebody. It ended up like a partnership from hell. You know what I mean? It's trust. And I was always told, trust somebody until they give you a reason not to. And that's how I live my life. Like, I can't like go on and work with somebody or do a partnership or an ownership or an agreement without saying, okay, I trust this person. I've done the best I could do. And like someone told me, just trust them unless they give you a reason not to. So I got into this partnership from hell, and it ended up a disaster. It ended up in court. I mean, I launched a magazine in my hometown, Pittsburgh, and here I am in court fighting over this magazine that just launched and dumping this money into a lawyer. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. You can have it. I'm gone. You know what I mean? It just wasn't worth it. Of course, the thing it went right down the tubes, but it was a successful magazine up until that point. But, you know, it's just I think that you got to surround yourself with the right people, the right talent. And sometimes it's the first person that comes along, and sometimes it's 100 person, but you got to turn over every stone. So I went through a lot of people in New York. I went through a lot of people. So, you know, the bigger the bubble, the bigger the pop. You know, sometimes the more excited person is, they're gone like in a week. And then the person you think is not going to do something, all of a sudden they're like a big part of what you're doing. So you just got to kind of go with it. And it's just really just perseverance.
Yeah.
That's the way it's been for me.
Well, I agree. I agree with pretty much everything that you said. I mean, I don't have anything it happened to us too. In AA Eventos, I mean, we have up and downs, learned from so many mistakes, so many employees that we had, and they're not here anymore. In our industry, with what we're doing, most of them, they're with us for a little bit, and we didn't know that we made a mistake and hired them, and today give me the reason to say, oh, they're not supposed to with us at the beginning with, because they end up leaving themselves, or they end up don't seeing my vision or sharing with me, or I'm just thinking too big, or whatever that is, that the universe helped me to just get them out, and they're not with us. A lot of them, some of them are very surprisingly not with us, and then they were working with us for a while at one point. But yeah, I share with that.
I always have to look at my end of the street too. Like, what did I screw up?
Exactly.
Well, what did I make clear?
Oh yeah.
Because there's two ends of the street. I gotta make sure that what did that person not get, or what did I screw up? Was this partly my I got
that I didn't communicate correctly.
Right.
Yeah.
That I said that they took it wrong and then never say nothing to me, and all of a sudden 7 months later that sparked something negative.
Really examining what went wrong on both ways and how you contributed to it is the full picture of learning, I think. I mean, that's always definitely part of it. And that's what makes you better.
There's no substitute for the experience of screwing up.
No.
Is part of it.
Yes. And I think that what you found and Anna, it is something that I mean, if you know, you think, I mean, you are from a place and share from a different country. You're here and you travel with her and you do this together. What a compliment to you guys are together doing what you do I think it's pretty remarkable. I don't know you guys for such a long time, or we know each other, but I think for the moment that I talk to Anna and I see her passion, and you can just see it when you talk to her. I'm like, and I think she can see her passion that I have too when I talk to her. And it's all the same. It's always Mark. So it's like I gotta give that kudos to you, because I think you found in Anna something that a lot of people are gonna see. Like, okay, there's something here, very positive. Right.
So absolutely, and I can totally see how your two industries, can work together.
Oh, yeah.
So can you tell us how you're working together now and what you have planned?
Well, on my end, the magazine is the only physical product we have. I mean, everything else is like paper. You got the website, but we also do events. So where Anna comes in is she handles the creative part of the event and the performance. So whether we're having an event with 50 people or 300 people or more, which we have planned for, Miami, I want to do a series of events here that kind of builds over the next 6 months. So she's going to handle the performance and the creative end of things, right?
Yeah. And we went to that space in Faena and South Beach. And Alex, we walked to that place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it.
I see Mark's. It looked like he was in some kind of store.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. The screen here. And Anna's like, no, people are going to come down this roof and they're going to come here. I'm like, what? This is amazing. It's like, it's similar to what we can think of, what we have some a canvas to start something, right?
Right.
Isn't it that was true when we went there? You guys were so excited about it. I'm like, I can see it. I can see us serving cocktails and serving food. I can see Mark doing his thing. Web3 all over the place, or big moving things. And Anna,
I'm sure you're really excited for December here in Miami, right?
for the Art Basel.
Exactly.
I mean, what better city? I mean, I know New York is amazing. Everybody wants to be there, but Miami have become some kind of destination also with Wynwood and Midtown and Art Basel Week. Do you agree? Art Basel Week is a week that you're looking forward to big time to showcase your talent, right?
Yes. Yes, I mean, New York, I remember my first a couple years in New York. It's all in my memories, and I think I experienced the best time when being artist, it was like being something, something very cool and important, and all these galleries shows, everyone just want to go, people can leave everything and go to opening, and then it's all changed after COVID, and there is no such a thing anymore. All this opening.
It didn't come back yet?
No, I don't. I don't think so. But when you are coming to Miami, you feel still that energy here, like the art galleries opening. I think it's a little changed in New York. It's not like how when I was here before, the first couple of years. But after COVID, it's changed. Yes, before COVID, it was like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of synergy between the two cities anyways.
Yeah.
15 years ago, you heard Miami, it was all about Art Basel. That's like why people came here. But, there's a lot of people who have, a business or they have something going on in New York, also have something going on in Miami. There just seems to be, it's like a 2.5 hour flight. And obviously, Florida's, people come here for business purposes.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially recently, there's been a huge migration.
It's friendly that way. So New York's always going to be New York. It'll come back in some way, shape, or form. Like they said, New York's always going to hell. It just never quite gets there. It'll eventually be back. It says, yeah. But for now, I needed something new and fresh and new people. So this was an opportunity to do that. There's a lot of startups here. The Web3 is here. Crypto's big here.
Yes.
Events are huge. A lot of startups. I can't even believe what's going on in downtown Miami. I mean, the technology, the building.
Have you gone to Brickell, the area?
I've been everywhere.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I can see.
There's a lot of influencers, celebrities living here already. People, a lot of them, and especially like you said, crypto, Bitcoin. I mean, so much money around.
I think it's just an easier startup environment for someone making a go at something.
Yeah.
Where New York, it used to be, if you want to be an artist 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you go to New York.
Yeah.
And that now it's like, it seems like you get started somewhere else.
Right.
And once you get legs, then you go and do an exhibition.
Exactly.
It seems to have flipped around a little bit.
Exactly.
But, I think a lot of these cities like, Austin and Miami and Nashville, and you're hearing a lot about them.
So the upcoming, Mark, tell the audience, the upcoming event that you have now is August 15, I'm mistaken?
August 15th, we're doing a small invite event at the Betsy Hotel in South Beach, which is this iconic 1930s hotel.
Yes.
And it's going to be a Web3 event. Web3 is kind of a catch-all term. It's almost like saying, I work in IT. But it's anything to do with the whole industry, whether it's gaming, fashion, art, design, fintech. So anything to do with blockchain, technology, it's kind of a catch-all term that people use. But it's going to be our first event in Miami. It's going to be maybe 100 to 150 people.
Yes.
We're going to have a discussion panel talking about the top opportunities coming in Web3, whether it's in fashion or art or gaming. They'll be talking about different topics. As far as that, we'll have hors d'oeuvres, we'll have drinks, a cash bar. And it's just that opportunity for people to meet the right people and to potentially meet partners in your business, investors, people just coming into the industry. People have a lot of experience in Web3 and the whole technology, but it's just going to be kind of a kickoff prelude to what's coming and what we have planned for Monday.
Amazing.
And we'll have a free magazine for everybody.
Yes. And of course, we are going to be there, right, Alex?
That's right.
We're going to be representing us going there.
Cooking up a little success there, huh?
So we're getting to the very little bit the end of our show here today, but there's one question that's extremely important, and we ask every single guest that we have, and I'm gonna ask Mark. I'm gonna ask you, Anna, but Mark, cooking up success. The definition of cooking up success for us is basically what are you doing to get to be successful at, or what do you do to achieve that thing that you're working on to be successful at. So what is your own definition of cooking up success?
For me,
Yes.
I think I'm a people part. I like getting out there and meeting people. I like going to the events. I like the networking part of it.
Right.
It's easy for me to sort of just get caught up behind my computer all day. But I think I do things the old-fashioned way. I get out there and beat the pavement. I go see the people. I walk into the businesses. I walk into the galleries.
Right.
I introduce myself. This is what I'm doing. I go to the events and I'll just stand there on the wall, with my little group of people that I know and comfortable with. I venture out and I look for someone standing there and I introduce myself. You have to get out there.
Right.
I know everybody's, we're all plugged into everything we own, but I think there's no magic bullet. You could do everything online. I just think it's a combination of everything. So I like getting out there and meeting.
I love that.
I think that's so true too.
Yes.
It's a combination. We can't just get consumed with one thing. It's all about balance, right?
Yeah,
Trying to have balance.
I can tweet all day, or I can, be on Discord or
Yes.
Twitter Space. It's all great. It's great.
Right.
But you get to get out there
As a
get
tool.
traction, and you can build a community. But I love the face-to-face. I like being.
Awesome.
I miss it.
No substitute. So, Anna, your definition of cooking up success, how do you do it?
For me, I would say that I'm just don't really afraid of like dreaming. Even when they say dreaming big, I never feel scared or like I don't have such a thing like, oh, I can't speak with that person, or I can't be in that gallery or in that studio. So for me, it's just I never have a no. It's not in my brain. I don't have that. Yeah, for me, it's all yes. And people sometimes say like, how do you go and speak with that person? Like, do you know who is that person? I said no, I don't know.
I love it.
Time to see his number and call it and say, how are you? This is Anna, and they would like start talking to me like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Anna. I want to have a photo shoot with this celebrity, and that's a few times happened. And they say, okay, tell us more about you. And so sometimes people get shocked, but I do that, and I suggest everyone do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? I mean, if you never ask, you never know. If you never have the motivation to enact on your dreams, they're never going to happen.
She has no fear.
Yeah.
She'll tell me she spoke with somebody. I'm like, you spoke with who?
I love that.
I guess the one thing I also feel like the people who like born here, they know more like traditions here,
Right.
how to communicate. For them, it all sounds like not really nice how I am. But when I'm coming from a different culture and I don't know a lot of history and story and things like how things work here. So for me, it just I do it without understanding what I do, and then it's just end up good at
It works out. Yeah, sometimes like we have these like invisible like rules of etiquette, right? That kind of can like hold us back, and sometimes. So.
Yeah, they're fake rules.
Yep.
Well, you heard from them. That's the definition of cooking up success. Here we are at the Miami Film House. We just had an amazing interview podcast with Mark and Anna. They came from New York and they're here to stay in Miami. They're doing amazing things. Stay tuned for the next episode of Cooking Up Success. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. And we're here to provide you value, show you every guest that we have their cooking of success, and it teaches us how to get there. Let's go get it.